The other thing, Dr. Tam, is something I had to learn. It's okay for things not to go as planned. Right, so that's where a lot of anxiety come in too. It's like you have this plan, right? You're expecting to finish this 20 dotted to-do list all in one day. But what if you just can't get to it? So I'm not a mother, right? But I know there's a lot of mothers out here on this timeline listening to my friends, people I've gone to school with, and their kids are running around in the background, right? And so they're trying to work out and trying to figure things out. And somebody asked me a question, is like, what do you do when your kids get in your way? And she said, but what if they're not in the way? What if you just integrate them into your plan, right? So that can be applied to anything. It doesn't have to be with children. It can be with anything that pops up into your life, right? You may have had a plan for that day to go out and do X, Y, and Z, but you call it a flat tire or something. That wasn't part of the plan, right? You deal with it. How do you apply that? How do you let that come into whatever your stuff is for the day, and you keep pushing it? We have to learn how to not let things overpower you, right? Your emotions, your feelings to overtake what you're going through. I think I see somebody say, if you're not asleep the first 15 to 20 minutes, it's good to get out of bed and go do a relaxing activity. That's very true. Yes, that's very true. It's easier to include them than to plan without them. So that's very true. Why not include them? They're learning, right? I think especially our younger children are at a phase where they're learning from older people. So they're mimicking and watching everything that the parents are doing. So this is a good time to include them in what you're doing, like you said, and let them learn. Anything you want to add to that, Dr. Tam?
Right. And we're talking about structure still, right? Maintaining a routine, right? So that's excellent advice, including the kids. I'm also really, really big on compartmentalizing your tasks. So even if things don't go as planned, if you've accomplished one thing a day out of the 10 things you had to get done, that's okay. Break up your task into very small, reasonable tasks, okay? Because I know for moms, you guys are like studying with the kids, you're helping complete homework, which has been, I'm sure, a daunting task for many of you, and I validate that experience for you, but also trying to just do a little at a time. You're just as accomplished and just as effective, and everything is efficient when you do things at your pace, but as long as you're getting them done, right? You feel this sense of accomplishment. So yeah, breaking up your tasks into small ones, reasonable ones. We like to term it short-term goals, SMART goals for yourself. It is a great way to maintain a routine.
I think that's really good, to not look at things in the bigger picture. I need to get all of this done this week. Instead of looking at the whole week, break it down to just that day, right? What do you need to do today? That'll help you not feel so overwhelmed as well. The other thing that came to my mind while we were talking, and I hadn't thought about it before, and I know some people are saying like it's very challenging for them too because they're home by themselves. They don't have that human interaction on a day-to-day basis. Your social network is so important right now, right? I don't want to say like your group or whatever you want to call it. At this point right now, it doesn't even have to be the people that you hang with or talk to on a daily basis. It's important to get some positive people in your life right now, right? People that are going to be able to speak life into you, people that are going to be able to say positive things to you when you're feeling down, right? People that are going to say, hey, Dr. Ted, come on, let's go for a walk today. You've been cooped up in the house by yourself. It's time that you get outside the house. Let me go take you to get some ice cream and let's go walk the lake real quick, right? So it's so important what you are allowing to come into your ear gate during this season, right? Because you're already you're already in a place where there's so much fear of the unknown right now around you, right? That the very littlest things can sneak up on you and attach to you. And so if you're surrounding yourself around people that are just talking and sowing negativity into you, right? It's gonna overpower you. So it's so important. You guys get you some real ones out there, okay? Get you some people that are going to uplift you, that's going to encourage you. You don't want to have somebody that they call you and you say, you know what, today's not a good day. I'm feeling really down. We don't use the word I'm depressed all the time. You just say, like, I'm sad. I'm just not feeling it today. Like, I want to use real language, right? I don't need you to then say, oh, I'm feeling that too, girl. And we both sitting up here. What are you doing for me and what am I doing for you? Baby, I'm getting off this phone with you. Let me go find me somebody that can pull me up out of this, right? So it's so important to get somebody around you that can help pull you through this season. You cannot connect yourself with anybody in this season that is going to keep you down and in a negative state of mind. You gotta stay positive right now, y'all.
Right. That's good. That's good. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more with your social support system matters right now. And then they have little apps that I've tried with my girlfriends, the house party app where we can all be on together and play little fun games, right? I think you've tried that, Shanice, where you can get on and you guys can play little nice games. You can talk and laugh and act like you're having a little social media party. It's so fun, and interactive tools like Zoom so that you can see, even if you can't feel the human connection, be able to see the people. FaceTiming is a great tool, right? Being able to, like Shani said, call that person, because it's a hard time for a lot of people, and I totally understand that. But yes, social support really, really matters, guys. It really matters right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And it's okay. Let me say this. It's okay if you're not okay. And if you need help, I'm praying that there's somebody around you that you feel comfortable enough to say, hey, I need a little bit of extra help in this area. And the person is not judgmental. The person is not going to look at you different, and they can connect you to the right resource. There's so much. I think somebody on here earlier, as I was reading the comments, said that YouTube and Zoom has been so great during this season right now. And I totally agree. Like, there is a 24/7 AANA group going right now. Every hour, no matter where you're at in this world, you can jump on and get support, right? And it's bringing people together that normally don't ever communicate. That's what I love about this. This time is forcing people to come out of their comfort zones, right? It's challenging us to do things differently, right? It's challenging us to really build true relationships, not just with other people, with ourselves. I learned so much about Shanice during this time, and I can finally say, I know that girl, right? Like, before that, I couldn't. I'm keeping it 100. Like, this has been a time where you really are learning to develop tools. You're really learning to sit with yourself. When the world was open, I'm saying open because everything for the most part is closed, you have the opportunity to just rip and run, like you were just going. Like, and now you really have to sit and learn about yourself. How do you really think, Dr. Ted? Is your thinking stinking, right? Or is that how you think more times than none? Like, you really learn those things about yourself. How good are you, Dr. Ted, as a friend, to reach out to other people and check on them and see how they're doing? Are we being selfish in this season, right? Or are we reaching out and talking to people and making sure they're okay? That's all part of self-care and making sure people are able to manage during this time.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. And this is an awesome time for the creative. Anybody who's always had an idea that you wanted to see manifest, now more than ever before is the time, because you got time to sit, write out those thoughts. Go on YouTube, go on Google, whatever your form of research is, and research that idea out and begin putting that pen or pencil to paper and write out, study for that exam. I've started even writing a book during this time. You will learn so much about yourself. And the scary thing, guys, a lot of us don't know ourselves because we've not sat long enough to really find out who we are without people. A lot of us don't know ourselves without being around a bunch of people. So it's important during this time that you really develop who you are, what your purpose is, what does destiny look like for you during the pandemic. Okay? Because in crisis, positive things do happen. I think I heard Shanice say she's become a director. I was hired as a health educator at his hospital. Good things are happening during the pandemic. You got to catch it though. You got to remember that the negative thoughts and behaviors and feelings that you begin to experience. You got to know it's not going to last always. And I'm not here to preach, but I am here to encourage and inspire that good things can come out of a pandemic. I've seen it. I've seen it happen, and I can't tell you that I've not been okay. There are times when this pandemic, and I'm sharing some transparency now, where my family members have been affected in more ways by this pandemic. And there were times when I sat at home feeling hopeless and helpless and feeling sad. Yes, Dr. Taya, the clinician, didn't feel like there was no way out. It felt like the world was going to end. Yes, I experienced those same thoughts. But good things can happen when you decide in your mind that I can no longer stay in this place, that negative space that I'm in, that I have to move forward. There's some things that I have to do, not only for myself, but for my kids, my husband, my mama, daddy.
I'm sorry. I'm about to
I wrote that because I understand what it means to not be okay during the pandemic, but I also know what it means to be able to develop an idea, to start writing a book, to start making things happen for Dr. Taya.
That's really good. I appreciate that. So one thing I did hear you say is good things are happening, but it's our responsibility to tell it, right? So I think it's important, and that'll help curb the anxiety that we're feeling and that our community is feeling too, is to change the narrative of what's being put out there, right? We keep seeing all these highlights and deaths, but there's a lot of people living, baby, let me tell you. And then, like you said, good things are happening. So we got to tell it. So start sharing the good things, start sharing the positive things that are happening in the community. And I promise you'll see a decrease in anxiety in the community. You'll see a decrease in anxiety in yourself, inside your household, right? It'll give you a sense of hope that better days are coming. So I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. I'm going to scroll through Facebook a little bit. I think we have about 5 minutes left before our time is up, but I've seen some really good comments, and I want to make sure that we can try and touch them, or I think other people are giving out some really good resources too. I think somebody had made a comment that there's a lot of free online concerts and stuff right now too. So for people that are, I don't want to say that they're isolating, because they may just be living by themselves and not choosing to isolate, but that's another good tool for people to connect with people. Instagram has a lot of lives going. Yeah, so if you're into music, you can always click on Instagram and listen to the live DJs that are playing. YouTube, if you're into spirituality and you're interested in just growing stronger in your relationship with God, there's so many new sermons that are coming up on YouTube. Find a local ministry in your community. We both were members of Lily of the Valley Christian Center. Shout out to our Bishop George Wardlaw III in Oakland, California. This is the time to be able to log online and be able to listen to a rich word, a word that's going to help you get through. So that's an option for you. Someone said you can create playlists on Apple Music. There's comedy also on Facebook. So if people are really into comedy and comedy shows, that's a good thing. You got to break up what you're watching and listening to. You really have to find a way to laugh right now. That's so important. Let's see. I see anything else. I think if somebody had a question, someone said it's a good time to regroup with family. I totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
Anything else? What about, Tay, you want to throw out some of the apps that we wanted to share about, like for meditation or guided things to help with? Like if you're feeling anxious or depressed, the app that you can reach out to and they'll walk you through some steps.
Yeah, so Woebot is one, and we've introduced this to our ministry is WOEBOT. Woebot is an excellent source of encouragement for the person that may not be feeling the best. And I want to say Woebot's how he functions is through the CBT and DBT modality. So he really deals with those thoughts and feelings. He's a computerized character, but he deals with those thoughts and feelings, and he checks in with you every day, just like a really good friend. But he's a robot. And so you may be feeling sad, and out the blue, Woebot to say, "Hey, let's check in," right? And it's a free app, and I know people who've actually used it, and they say, "Hey, Dr. Taya, that's really worked for me." To have that constant support of someone checking in. Also, Calm, the Calm app, CALM, is very helpful. It has a lot of meditation going on that you can use. Abide is a spiritual meditation app that, shout out to Google Atkins, she actually turned me on to Abide, and it's an excellent app. It reads scriptures to you. It tells you Bible stories. And so I think someone was saying those restless nights, just allowing those meditation apps to play is I think you mentioned 211 as well being a resource.
Yeah, 211 is a really good resource. It's the Alameda County database, right? So they're like the gatekeepers for all of the services in the county. So if you ever had a question and didn't know where to go, you can literally dial 211 on your phone, and it'll take you to a live person, no matter what time of the day it is, and you can let them know, hey, I'm in need of case management services. Hey, I'm in need of a crisis support line. Is there a support group I can go to? You may need help with your medication being refilled, or you don't know where to go because some places don't allow you to go and do crisis meds anymore. So it's a really good place to call to be able to get the support you need, get your medications refilled. Your local church is a good place to call too if you need help in support and resources. There's somebody in your local church that will have an answer for you and help you figure it out. Someone on here put Mood Notes is a really good app for CBT. Mood Notes, MOODNOTES. Someone asked about addiction, like what about people that are dealing with addiction right now during this time, and anxiety can come into play. And one thing I want to say is idle time for anybody is not good, but idle time for someone that has addiction or is in recovery, it is a challenging time for them. So check on people that are by themselves, that may not be working or don't have people around them, and they are dealing with an addiction. I would give them the information for those 24-hour AA/NA groups. If you're on my page, Dr. Taya can also share it too after this, the links to those as well, so you'll be able to get on there. Somebody had asked the question, I think we talked about it just a little bit earlier, about just how do we get back into the swing of things when we're able to go outside again, right? Like giving hugs and shaking hands, talking to people. Like how do we do that? But I mean, I don't have the total answer to it, but let me tell you, I say be as honest as you can with people. If you're in a space where you're not ready yet to give somebody a hug or give somebody a kiss, I think they need to be able to respect that. And you would just say, I'm just not comfortable right now yet, but I love you. air hugs. I've been doing that a lot lately. Air hugs, or I'll say, excuse me, can you step back 6 feet for me, please? I've said it so many times over the last couple of weeks, especially because I'm still coming into the office and stuff too. And I want to make sure I'm keeping my family safe too. So I think don't be afraid to be able to say it. And extend grace to people too as we come back into I keep saying the real world. I don't know why I want to say the real world, but extend grace to people. Extend grace to yourself that going back into this, everything is not going to just be totally the same, right? You're not going to walk back into the world and it's just going to be how it was before this all happened. Like, you have to be okay with knowing that you're going to take this every minute by minute, right? Look at it in much smaller steps, and you may have a bad moment in a day, but that doesn't mean you had a bad day, right? You had a bad moment, but not a bad day, and you're just keep going.